Alright, so I'm back with a video about Composer again, and now again this is not scripted, so if I encounter some problem, this is a live situation. I'm not doing anything scripted and smooth, so if I encounter any issue I'll have to solve it, hopefully to your avail. So some of the videos that I made before, they were how to switch a Drupal site to use Composer with drupal-project in Composer. Now I'm doing a video how to switch them back for those sites that you already have, because for some of the cases you cannot use Drupal-project Composer implementation, and that is for shared hosting, because the shared hosting will not allow you to create a folder one level up. So if you have your vendor folder one level above your root folder, it will not be accessible, or it will be hard to copy there and stuff like that. Thus we need to move it back. So in this example I'll show how to move it back into your Drupal folder. So here is a small website that I will use as an example. Before we do that, we need to make sure that it is updated, because we'll be using Composer to and we need to make sure that it's updated, because if it pulls something new and it's not updated, then we can have some problems. And it's a good idea to update websites anyway, whenever it's something. In this case, there is a new version of Drupal 8.4, and we'll use that one. So let's just go and update it real fast, and then we will do the rest. Okay, Composer update with dependencies. Composer update with dependencies updates basically all of your website if it is entirely in Composer. It checks for the new versions and then it installs them. It will take some time for it to calculate the dependencies, because it checks every single library which is installed and checks against which dependencies it has and whether newly installed libraries will be in accord with them. So it takes some time, even though it could probably be faster. So now it found the dependencies and calculated them, and it has updated. Now we need to go to web folder and run updates to make sure that the database is in order. Of course, you will also need to make a backup of your files and your database, just in case. Now we're gonna verify if everything is alright. Hopefully it is. Come on. I updated the core, yeah. So yeah, now it's alright. I'm not going to update Bootstrap because I don't know if it will break my theme if we do. So yeah, now that it's done, I will add it to Git. My vendor folder is still outside, so I need to go one level up. And git commit updates, git push, and this site is in master, so it's not live yet, so I feel free to push into master. Of course, if you're working with the flow, you wouldn't be doing that frivolous thing. So yeah, now that it's updated, oh, never mind. Now that it's updated, we can go and do our composer stuff. So one thing that we need to do is we want to move composer. No, this is Drupal 4, not this folder, this folder. So one thing that we want to do is we want to move the vendor folder where composer installed libraries are stored inside the web folder. It has a web folder now. I wonder why, though it's not using it. Composer JSON, which says that something went wrong. Probably it wasn't deleted, because it had to be deleted when it was moved. So if it was done correctly, then you will have something like this. Yeah. And it should still be working. Yeah. Alright, so this is how it's supposed to look like. And I will actually, I'm sorry, I'll have to add and commit it again, because that removed folder, that shouldn't be there. Probably just was left in there. Oh yeah, it just had some leftover files, probably added by Git or something. Git push. So now we can proceed. Now it looks as it's supposed to look when you start moving that folder. So I'll go one level up, and this is our vendor folder that we will be moving inside, except that we will not be moving it. We will delete it. Because, I mean, inside it has all kinds of classes that are already prefixed to work from within the root folder. And if we move it and try to just fix them, we will go mad doing that. So let's just delete it. We have our composer files anyway, right? Then we will copy composer log as well. Now let's delete the log file and we'll reinstall everything. And we will cut composer JSON. So we have deleted vendor, we have deleted composer log, and we only cut composer JSON and move it into the web folder. Here it is. Now the site is broken now because we have deleted the folder with libraries, the vendor folder. So we will need to recreate it here. But before we do that, we need to edit composer JSON file, because it has some things that rely on this external folder that we will not be able to use. One of them is config, but it's in the settings. So in fact, I prefer to keep that external folder for development, to keep the config there and stuff like that, but to not use it. So I have that external folder only on the dev server. Okay, so in the web folder, let's edit composer JSON file. And in that file, you see some things that need to be corrected because they are using drupal-project, and we shouldn't. That's why I have this usual Drupal 4 installation folder, so we can see what's there. We open their composer JSON file, and you see that they have name and description. Let's override that. And then we will scroll down and find those cases when we used the external paths. Okay, extra installer paths, web. Yeah, because it was one level up, it had that web thing, and we are going to remove it now. Like this. I'm sorry, I'll pause it. Alright, I'm back. Sorry for the delay. Alright, so we cleaned it up, and yeah, we should do Drush like that, because it's one level up now. And also we need to check for the scripts. Yeah, here's autoload. We need to check and correct the autoload because it won't load. So we need to find autoload. Autoload. Here it is. This autoload, and yeah, in fact we will use all of these. Autoload scripts and repositories. Autoload scripts. They have, where are repositories? Just a second. Repositories. Composer packages. Yeah, so they already have that. So we don't need to have another ones. Okay. Now that we have edited, we basically edited just the header information, and then we fixed autoloader and scripts from the Drupal's original composer files. Alright, so we can basically try now to go into the web folder and try to install and see if it will work out. And if we'll have any errors, we'll know at that point. But let us restart the server just to make sure we don't have that cached. And now let's do composer install. Have I corrected the paths? The paths, I think I saw the word paths somewhere that I needed to correct. Maybe my memory is failing me. I think I saw some install paths. No, I didn't think so. Let's try. Composer install. Oh, I'm sorry. It should be composer require. Because it would do an install if we had a JSON log file, but because we deleted it, we're doing a require, which basically install is faster because install will just look in the JSON log file and install what's already there. But I wanted to do a fresh installation to make sure I didn't have any issues with the paths. So it will recalculate dependencies again. That's why I updated the site, because it will install newer versions now. Okay, so you see it's installing all the libraries. Yeah, and it has written the autoloader file. Here it is, let's check it out. And it's correct. It's no longer pointing one level up. And also composer log file. Yeah. So ideally, it should already be working. It should be it. Let's just do drush cr to see if yep, no errors. So the moment of truth, let's reload the site. Yep, the site has reloaded. So that's it basically. Now, what do I do next? When I put the site live, I put this content, these contents of the web folder uploaded to the server. When I develop at home, I can continue to have this Git folder and everything here. And then I only upload this to the server. Now, if I wanted to continue working with Git and SSH, then I would probably need to delete this Git folder and delete everything else from here, and instead use this folder as a root folder without any of this. But in the most cases, when we have SSH access and Git, we have enough liberty to have this kind of setup, so it won't be necessary. In fact, I have also changed my sidecat. Like if you have an older version of my video, you can see sidecat was set up with the vendor folder outside the web folder. And I changed it and I moved my vendor folder inside the web folder, just so that it can be used for all kinds of sites, for all kinds of hostings. Also, one thing that you should note is that now that the site is under Git, you should not be getting like downloading and extracting Drupal archives to update it, because if you do that, you'll break autoload. So the only way to update it correctly is to update it with Composer. So you would update it locally, then copy the updated files, and that's basically every file except the sites. You would exclude the sites, copy everything else, and upload them to the server. Right. Hope it helps.